Explosions rocked the trench line as Cal Riss drop pod slammed into the mud-slick earth. The hatch blew open before his Mac boots could cycle lock. Plasma rounds zipped past his helmet, chewing divots from the pod's hull. Collision liaison. Identify. A human voice barked over the din, close and raw. Cal unstrapped, his four-fingered hands fumbling the harness. Stepped out, carapaz scrapping trench wall. A human female in scarred plate armor crouched 10 meters downline, her squad rifle chattering bursts at muzzle flares across no man's land. "Risk Kyle attached to VAM squad per orders," he shouted, voice modulator straining against the roar. She glanced back, eyes hard under her visor. Staff Sergeant Mara Vance, boots in mood alien. Good enough. Grab Brepman and shoot something. Cale's primary optic locked on an enemy silhouette cresting a blast ridge. He raised his coalition pulse carbine. The shot lanced out, but the figure ducked behind slug. Vance's squad, 5 humans total, hunkered in the shattered trench network. Coalition Earthmovers had gouged these lines weeks ago, but Barr's shock troops had pounded them into craters and wire traps. Cal's mission: observe human doctrine, up close, relay to Lieutenant Tovan's platoon, keep the Alliance breathing. A human mile, Corporal J. Kim slapped a fresh power cell into his engineer pack. Sargev Boris Walker's inbound, seismic pings. Copy, eyes up. Vance waved Cale closer. You, rig pads clave to our net yet? Kyle synced his coalition mapper. Green lights blinked. Afir, targeting overlay live. Then the world erupted. Warlord Kefvor's shock barrage hit like a stellar core breach. Burrowing charges detonated under the trench grid. Ground heaved. Kyle's spot crumpled behind him as Revitman's cavet. His comms crackled to static, jammed. Severed from Tovan's command node. Screams echoed from allied positions. Coalition hover tanks flipped end over end, their grab plates whining failure. Human foxholes vanished in geysers of soil. Kyle staggered, equilibrium servos spinning. A slab of ferrocratic lipped his shoulder powder, spinning him into the trench wall. Pine lanced his secondary nerves. Vance lunged through the debris cloud.
Air globe hand clamped Cale's harness carapace. "Move, Leanne!"
Greater now. She dragged him backward as rounds stitched the spot he'd vacated. Cale's boots skidded in slurry. It twisted carbine up and snap-fired at a barren shock trooper leaping the wire. The alien brute, hulking, spike-armored, jerked mid-air, tumbled dead. Vance shoved him into a fresh crater, B2VH. The squad piled in after. Kim, 2 riflemen, a heavy gunner. Shells screamed overhead, Boer's artillery walking the line. It tasted Ozen and Jar. Comes down. Tovan's platoon scattered? Everyone scattered. Vance braced her rifle on the crater lip, squeezed off controlled bursts. Boer wants us broken. Ain't getting it. Enemy fire intensified. Muzzle blooms dotted the smoke haze. Boer's vanguard probing. Kyle's wrist map pierced the jam with tight beam pulses. It traced flashes triangulated from crater shake and thermal ghosts. Targets, grid 7-4, elevation +2. Heavy cluster at 9-1. Kyle beamed the data straight to Vance's HUD. His coalition tech outpaced human optics in low-vis null space. Vance's rifle barked in rhythm. "Kim, demo those heavies. Rest, suppress." Corporal Kim grinned through his visor smear. He yanked scrap rebar from the crater wall, fused it with a microcharge from his pack. "On it, Sarge. Timing fuse 3 mics."
Kyle watched, stunned.
Man's jury rigged like it was drill. No tool calls, no requisitions. Kim lobbed the bundle towards the heavy cluster, perfect arc. It burrowed, then bloomed fire. Screams cut the barrage. "Nice feed, Rhys. Keep it coming. You're buying drinks after." A new ping pierced Cale's mapper. A down medic beacon, half a click east. Coalition signature. Tovan's auxiliary unit. Find beetles, fighting. "Midi connect. Ours or yours?" Kyle cross-checked. Alition. Possible Duver survivors. Mount up, Vance stood, mood cascading of her plates. Counter push. We grab M or Bordos. Kyle's Vance cycled alarm. Lieutenant Tovan's orders were hold and observe. Pullback protocol active on the barrage. She fixed him with a stare. "Pullback gets everyone mulched. You want observe?" "Observe with this." She slapped his padron. "Move with us or stay buried." The squad boiled out of the crater. Kim slapped Kyle's back. Hard. "Stick close, forearms. We got your reach." Kyle gripped his carbine. Fear coiled in his gut veins, raw, unfamiliar. Coalition doctrine prized precision strikes, orbital supremacy. Ground pounders withdrew under shock fire. humans charged into it. Bands led low and fast, bounding from crater to shell hole. Vor's troops swarmed the gap now, spike-armored hulks with chain flails and plasma moles. One squad of Vor's elites flanked left, chains whirring. Kyle's mapper pinged them first. Flankers grid 8-5 surprise. The human heavy gunner pivoted, belt-fed slugs hosing the line. Or Brutus read it, but more crested. Kim thumbed the clacker. Borid Mines, his earlier tosses, detonated in chain reaction. Dirt fountained, swallowing a dozen. Vance dropped to a knee beside Kyle. Your map's gold. Where's the beacon? Kyle overlight. 50 meters. Breach in wire ahead. They hit the wire tangle. Bordrones Baslow, Stingers live. A rifleman swatted one down, but another latched his leg. He grunted, yanked it free, stomped the spark. Cal fired point defense. Pulse bolts vaporizing two more. His arms blurred. Coalition reflexes tuned for swarm defense. Through! Band slashed wire with vibro knife. The squad piled into a gutted bunker. Inside, 3 coalition medics, carapaces cracked, vitals low. Ton slumped against a wall, leg mangled. Lieutenant, Kyle rushed forward. Doban's optics flickered. Rice, report aliens holding. Kyle patched ice-team unit to Doban's port. Band squad extracted. Bands scanned the bunker. Kim, booby this hole. We hump back with stretchers. Dovan rasped through modulator. Negative. Boer's main push imminate. Pull back to secondary line. Bands ignored him, hefting a medic onto her shoulders. Main push is here now. We fight or die. Separate. Kyle hesitated. Dupton screamed retreat, but Vance's squad moved like one organism. Humans hauling aliens without pause. Kim rigged the bunker door with scavenge Boer plasma cells. The riflemen covered flanks. Arambol shook the bunker. Boer's walkers, hulking tripeds with barrel arrays, thudded closer. Their treads ground allied wrecks to paste. Kyle's mapper screamed contacts. Walkers to Scimitars meters. Infantry screen ahead. Bands dropped the medic gentle. Rifle up. Rice, light 'em up. Kim, you got a welcome? Kim unpacked his pack. Dirt from the trench floor, mixed with Chempax and a Vord drone husk. He molded a shaped charge, slapped it on a beam. Claymore special. Scrap, deered, boom. Kyle beamed Walker joins to Vance. She fired micro-rockets from her underbarrel. One leg buckled on the lead beast. It toppled, crushing its own screen. Boer infantry boiled forward, 50 strong, flail spinning, Gale's carbine overheated on full auto. Umans reloaded seamless, covering his bend cycle. Doban steered, grabbing his sidearm. Rish, they treat death as delay. The bunker door blew inward. Boer shock troops poured through. Vance met the first with bayonet. She twisted, fired point blank. Frag out! Kim's claymore ripped the doorway. Limbs flew. Kyle Pulse bolted a fly alarm mid-swing. It crumpled at his feet. Instead, humans fought without fear protocols. Vance bled from a gash on her arm. Ignored it. Push! She roared. They surged out. Aliens on stretchers, firing as one. Ball lines wavered under the counterfire. Kale's bands burned with something new. Respect. Not observation. Kinship. Then his mapper pinged. Ver's reserves, massive, cresting the ridge. Warlord himself at the van. Mao mortar round screened down. The first impact shook the ridge, hurling dirt and Boer corpses into the air. Kyle dove behind a shattered barricade, his carbine chattering at the reserves cresting the hill. Warlord Kev Boer loomed at their front, his maul raised like a thunderhead, shot troops fanning out behind them. Rear security Rice, Staff Sergeant Mara Vance bellowed over the comm. She slapped fresh mac into her rifle, eyes locked on the horde. Cover that crawl road. God gets behind us. Kyle scrambled to the trench lip. Shells pounded the ground 50 meters out, walking fire toward their position. Uman sprinted past him. Hyde Kim lugging demo packs, aliens limping on stretchers. Vor warriors charged through the barrage, flails whirling. Kyle's beam swept the route, vaporizing a scout drone. A mortar burst 10 meters away. Shrapnel pinged off his armor. He held position. Vance fired from the hip, dropping to Vor's with precise bursts. Kim, tunnel now. We can't hold the open. Corporal J. Kim dropped to a knee beside a sealed service hatch, half buried in rubble. Hay giant power cells from a wrecked Boer walker, stripped wires with his multi-tool. Dirt from the trench floor went into a pouch, mixed with Chempax ripped from his vest.
His hands blurred, molding, packing, sealing.
Stand by. Another mortar hit. The ground bucked. Kyle's vents overheated from sustained fire. A frail warrior breached the crawl route, lunging at an alien trooper. Kyle pulse-bolted its knee, then its helm. It collapsed, twitching. "Brought clear," he shouted, voice steady despite the thunder. "Clear," Vance echoed. She dragged Lieutenant Sorrel Toven upright. Toven's arm hung limp, blood seeping through field dressing. "Rith, you're with us." "Move!" Kim slapped the charge onto the hatch seals. "Fire in the hole!" A sharp crack split the air. Metal peeled back like foil. Smoke billowed from the breach. In kicked the hatch open. Tunnel's hot. "Go!" Kyle plunged in after Vance. The service tunnel twisted narrow, walls groaning under collapse. Ceiling panels, rain sparks, heat baked from ruptured conduits, vor sabotage, maybe. Smoke load his bends. He coughed, optics fogging. Humans pushed ahead without pause. Vance low-crawled, rifle probing corners. Keen sealed the charge remnants behind them, buying seconds. A rumble shook the tunnel, mortars above, chewing through the surface. Dust sifted down. Kyle's claws scraped ferrocrete. His suit alarms blattered. Structural failure imminent. "Keep pace," Vance snapped. Boots pounding. No hesitation. Kyle matched her stride, amazed. Coalition doctrine called this suicide. Humans named it moving to cover. The tunnel forked. Hiking scanned with his auspex. Left forks to sublevels. Medicicans that way. 200 meters. Burrow cut it off. Vance halted at the junction. Shells hammered overhead, vibrating the walls. "Split. Kim, you and two lanes grab the beacon. Reese, you're with me. We evac the wounded. Rally at the lift shaft." "Understood," Kyle said. His core protocols screened retreat. Bat's eyes, hard, unyielding, demanded obedience. A collapse roared behind them. Tons of rubble sealed the entrance. No way back. Kim vanished left with his fire team. Auspex beeping. Vance grabbed the wounded alien trooper. Private Lyra, leg mangled by flail. Rice, hoister. Double time. Kyle slung Lyra over his shoulder pauldron. She moaned, gripping his harness, light as a drone husk. He followed Vance into the right fork. Smoke thickened, heat rising to furnace levels. His suit recycler strained. Vance kicked through a jammed grate. Faster! Boars punching through topside. Kyle's legs burned. Humans jogged through this inferno. His mapper showed Boar reservists flooding the surface. Warlord Boar directing maul strikes on allied positions. Lieutenant Toven's beacon pulsed, faint, cut off, buckled. Vance fired her and the barrel breacher foam expanded, sealing cracks. No collapse on my watch. They burst into a maintenance bay. Sparks flew from live wires. Two Vor sappers crouched there, rigging them on the medic ward door. Vance opened fire first. Headshots dropped one. Kali bolted the second mid-turn. Lyra steer. "Leave me." "Negative," Vance growled, reloading. Scanned the ward hatch. Toven's inside. "Breach it." Cal set Lear down gentle. His carbine chewed the lock. Door swung open. Inside, chaos. Wounded aliens stacked on cots. Toven barking orders to the last medics. More gunfire echoed from Vance. "Out!" Toven yelled, spotting them. Perimeter's breach. Vance shouldered in, laying suppressing fire down a side passage. "Grab what you can." Riss. Load him. Kyle hefted two more wounded, one armed, firing from his grip. They piled out, Vance covering. Alars wailed, Boar closing fast. Comms crackled. Kim's voice beacon secured. Heavy contact bore the motim. "Need exfil." Vance keyed her mic. "On us. Push to the lift." Kyle's squad mates staggered behind, firing wild. Mortars still thundered above, but the human's pace never slackened. What Kyle's briefers called retreat became advance. A cloud deeper into the complex, seizing ground from the enemy. A board patrol rounded the corner, 6 strong mauls humming. Vance met them head-on. "Grenades!" She rolled 2, dove behind, as tension. Blast shred the lead 3. K laid beams on the rest, his bends cooling at last. Tovan limped up, eyes wide at Vance. "Sergeant, your casualties?" Jur said flat, "Yours?" Tovan glanced at Kale, carrying 3 now. Acceptable, they hit the lift shaft. Kim's team burst from a side tunnel. Beacon clutched tight. Vor shouts echoed closer, Warlord's reserves pouring in. "Stack up," Vance ordered. She preed the lift doors exposing the shaft. Riss wounded first. Kim, rip the doors. Kim unpacked his last chem pack, wired it to the frame. Delayed it fuse. 5 mics. Kay lowered the first wounded down the cables, hand over hand. Smoke poured up from below. Heat waves distorted the air. Humans followed seamless, coaching aliens down. Bands dropped last, rifle slung. They piled into the sublevel access. A phenol rumble shook the shaft. Kim's charge. Doors fused shut. Kail's mapper updated, bore forces split, hunting ghosts. Elite lines held, for now. But the warlord's maw icon pulsed closer. Reserves regrouping. The offensive hammered on. Bands clapped Kail's pauldron. Good work, liaison. Your squad now. Kail stared at the shaft. Man's turn rout into rally. Fear twisted in his core. Not of vor, of what humans call routine. Tovan gripped his sidearm. Reese, report to command. Tell them a new ping cut him off. Bor drop pods, slamming the sublevels ahead. Warlord himself descending Ban's green ferrule. Game on. Drop pods thudded ahead, sealing the sublevel junction. Van's kit opened the tunnel exit hatch. Kefbor's assault teams swarmed through the breach. Hulking brutes in spiked armor, plasma webs crackling. Contact front, Vance bellowed. A squad dropped into firing stances. Bolts scorched the air. Kail's rifle bucked in his grip. A squeezed off rounds, dropping one brute mid-charge. The enemy boarding faster. Point-blank range turned the tunnel into a meat grinder. Vor's warriors pinned them against the bulkhead. Alien rounds pinged off Kail's pauldron. Auman screamed as plasma seared flesh. Vance rolled left, Mac clinking empty, suppressing fire. Kim flanked right. Kail's hearts hammered. These were Vor's elite Malborn killers bred for shock assaults. Coalition seems predicted lines shattering here. His squad mates fired steady, no panic. Tovan Jank is come. Rise. Command were pinned. Request evac. Static hissed back. No reply. A Brutus whip lashed out, carving a gash in the tunnel wall inches from Kail's head. Heat singed his scales. A fire blind, rifle overheating, Vance slapped a fresh mag home. She yanked a grenade from her vest. Firing slit, 12 o'clock. Enemy barricades choked the exit, slit glowing with muzzle flare. She thumped the activator. Cooked it 2 seconds. Lobbed it did center. The slit spat fire. Bam charged before the grenade detonate. Bounding. Boom. Shrapnel shredded the barricade. Vance bolted through the smoke, rifle barking. Du Brutus crumpled. Kail froze. His training screamed retreat, regroup at defensible choke point. Humans charged into kill zones. Into death. A brute flanked left, plasma rifle whining. It targeted Tovan. Kail's limbs locked. Fear he knew fear. Coalition briefings drilled it. Paralysis under fire. The brute advanced. Tovan fumbled his sidearm. Kail forced his rifle up, sights locked. He hossed the corridor. Rounds punched through armored joints. The brute, spasmed, crashed down. More shadows stirred in the flank tube. Encirclement, Kail pivoted, cleared the corridor methodically. 1 down, 2. His rifle clicked empty. He slammed home a spare, vision tunneling. Flank clear, he shouted, voice raw. Ben's voice cut through. Rise! On me, he snapped back. The squad pushed forward. Vor's teams reeled, but reserves boiled in. Kim crouched at a side vent. Enemy drone screeched inside, 6 legs skittering, optics wearing, it spat flechettes. Kim lunged, grabbed its chassis, dragged it kicking into the open. Bites out. The drone thrashed, alarm klaxons blaring. Bor brutes surged toward the noise. 5 heavies, shields linked. Kim slapped a breaching charge to its underbelly. Fire in the hole! He shoved it forward. The drone barreled into the heavies. Detonation ripped shields apart. Brutes staggered. Armor benting plasma. Ban squad poured fire. Heavies dropped. Kail reloaded, hands shaking. Humans turned enemy tech against itself. Routine improvisation. His mapper pinged bore forces fragmenting. Butt pain hit. A flechet grazed his thigh, burning deep. He gritted mandibles, kept firing. Vance took a bolt to the shoulder. Armor charred. She grunted, switched to pistol one-handed. Kim, demo, the junction. Kim nodded, blood trickling from a scalp cut. He packed demo charges into stress fractures. No hesitation. Tovan clutched his wounded arm. Fall back. We hold nothing here. Vance shot him a glare. Negative. We seal this by tying for main lines. She fired past Kail, dropping a brute lunging at him. Kail watched her. Shoulder smoking, she moved like the wound was a bruise. Kim wired charges with mangled fingers. Squad mates dragged wounded, covered each other seamless. Terror. The word crystallized in Kyle's core. Not Vor's Maul. Not the swarm. Humans. They fought through ruin as protocol. Charge hell as drill. No coalition officer endured this pain-fractured discipline. Yet humans bonded tighter. A brute's maul smashed the tunnel lip. Vor himself? No lieutenant cast, bellowing orders. Kim, now! Bans yelled. Charges blew. Junction collapsed in rubble and dust.
Vor's push stalled. The squad fell back to a defensible mode.
Wounded piled against crates. Med patches hissed. Bans slumped beside Kyle. Status? 3 down, 4 wounded, Kim reported, binding his hand. But Vor split. Toman wheezed. Riz, you saw. Humans are reckless. Alliance can't, shouted LT. Vance cut in. Rice cleared our flank, earned his spot. Kyle met her eyes. No bust. Pfah. His thigh throbbed. He stood anyway, rifle ready, mapper updated, Vor regrouping above. Drop pods, cycling, fresh troops. Humans clapped his pauldron. Kim grinned through blood. Nice shooting scales. Terror coiled deeper. Kyle gripped his rifle. These weren't allies. Brothers in the breach. Benz checked her wound. Regroup in 5. Bars coming personal. A new rumble shook the deck. Warlocks Econ pulsed direct descent. Kyle's fear sharpened to resolve. Humans faced impossible daily. Now he did too. But what if they broke first? Plasma fire erupted from a side grate. Boss infiltrators breach. Contact! Vance roared, charging again. Plasma bolts scorched the air inches from Kyle's crest. He snapped his rifle up and fired into the grate. An infiltrator's scream cut short as its carapace shattered. Flank left, Vance bellowed. He rolled over a crate, her rifle barking precise bursts. Kim hurled a frag grenade. It bounced into the breach and detonated. Shrapnel pinged off walls. Smoke choked the node. Kyle advanced with the squad. His thigh burned, but he matched their pace. Humans moved like one organism, flawless, relentless. Vance grabbed his pauldron. Cover the wounded. We hold here.
Kyle nodded. It dragged a moaning private behind cover.
Rifle up, he scanned the haze. Vor's forces pressed. Icons swarmed his mapper. Static crackled in his comm. Lieutenant Totovan's voice pierced through. Rise. Report. Human squad status. Engage. Seed. Heavy contact. Porcelids breaching. Coalition forces falling back to secondary line. Relay coordinates. We extract you alone. Kyle froze. Secondary line left Vance's squad stranded, 2 clicks through kill zones. No man transport waited. Vance glanced over. What's the word? Scales. Tovan. Orders. Pull back. Leaves you.
Her jaw tightened. She fired again, dropping a shadow in the smoke.
Tell him no dice. Kale's mandibles clicked. Protocol demanded obedience. Coalition doctrine prioritized assets. Humans were expendable observers. But Vance patched his wound earlier. Kim shard charges. They clapped his shell like in. It keyed open channel. All frequencies. Humans and Coalition heard. Lieutenant Tovan, negative on fallback. Human squad holds grid 4719. War pins them. Commit support or alliance fractures here. Silence stretched. Band stared. Kim whistled low. Tovan's wheeze returned. Rice, you break chain of command. Explain. Humans fight as brothers. I fight with them. Send walkers. Now, Ban's green through grime. She slapped a fresh mag into his rifle. Here, brother. Lock it in. The word hit like plasma. Brother. No Coalition officer claimed that lightly. His grip tightened on the weapon. It chambered the rounds. Explosions rocked the deck above. Bor's drop pods slammed home. Mapper lit with red icons. Kim patches hut to Kyle's. Scrap barricading coming. Help me weld. They dragged hull plates. Kyle's plasma torch fused metal. Human hands work faster. Intuitive. Ban's kit squatnet. Tovan, you listening? Riz bought us time. Pay up. Tovan's voice sharpened. Walkers inbound. Risky flank east raving. Human spotters tie our fire control. Bans, you call targets. Affirm. Bans snapped. Kim paint, Kim brick beacons from enemy wreckage. Lights on, scales. Watch my 6. Cow covered him. Infiltrators probed again. He fired Vance's mag dry. Precise shots, human rounds punched deeper than Coalition standard. Walkers thrumped. Massive Coalition frames crested the ridge. Gauss cannons prime. Tovan's voice boomed. Fire control, slave to human grids, confirm targets. Bansi's hood pinged grid, 4820, heavy infantry. Fire walkers unleashed. Gauss rounds pulverized Vor's vanguard. Drive erupted in superheated slack. Enemy drop pods vaporized mid-Tiles hearts, raced. Coalition walkers unbeatable at rain, but humans spotted through chaos, instinctive and lacked. Vance pumped a fist. That's how you flank. Cheers mixed on comms. Human whoops, alien affirmatives. 10 mapper glitched. Decoy icon swarmed, false heat blooms, ghost pods. Boar's ploy, real assault vectored west through allied merge point. Decoys! Kyle yelled. Main force 4-6, 1H. Tuban barked. Walkers, pivot. Butts shouldered her rifle. Van shouldered her rifle. No choice, we link up mid-fight. Reese, lead point to ravine. Kale's fear spiked. Boar expected chatter aliens cautious, humans reckless. But now, a charge first. A squad followed. Plasma stitched the gap. Kim's demo charges cleared a breach. Enemies boiled from bends. Boar's bellow echoed. Break them, coalition cowards. A brute lieutenant swung a Mao. Van's Dutch put 3 rounds in its helm. Kyle fired, beside her. His shot synced, human rhythm. Kim yelled, trap ahead, trip mines. Edobe, disarming with jury-rigged probe, uncovered. Tovan's walkers laid suppressing fire, guided by her grids. They hit the Revin merge. Coalition troops stared, Kyle at front with humans. Tovan waved from his walker cockpit. Rise bold. Benz slapped Chaos back. Brother, earn it. Borselitz crested opposite bridge. Warlord himself, hulking, scarred, Bibro axe gaming. Drop pod scarred his powdron. Charge, Bor roared. His horde surged. Decoys forgotten, full assault. Allied line buckled. Humans and aliens intermingled, no clean sectors. Kael's rifle bucked. Beside him, a coalition private faltered. Vance shoved him steady. Shoot, kid. Tovan's walkers dumped forward. Firelings hold. Humans spot. Kim beconed a cluster. Walker Gauss erased it. Bor targeted the merge. His axe cleaved a coalition trooper. He bello da Kyle. Traitor, flee with soft skins. Kyle stood ground. Fired center mass. Rounds sparked off armor. Vance flanked. Grade 8 out. Had tossed his head perfect. Blast staggered Bor. Kim rushed with satchel. Cover. Kyle and Vance poured fire. Bor's one wheel. Kim slapped charge. Boom in 3. Bor launched. Out tackled Kim clear. Vance dragged both. Detonation hurled Vor into ravine. His horde wavered. Tovan's walkers advanced. Gauss symphony shredded remnants. Silence fell. Smoke cleared. Wounded groaned. Vance slammed against Cal. He clutched his rifle. Thigh numb, shell cracked, boot alive. Tovan approached. Rise, your call saved us. Alliance, prevent. Kyle met his gaze. Fear lingered, but respect burned brighter. Man's turned impossible routine. Now, aliens matched it. Bor's icon pulsed faint. Not dead. Dropping below. More coming. Kim warned. Binding wounds. Bands stood. Then we hit first. Kyle grip rifle. Brothers charged as one. Lights died. Kyle's world plunged into black. Power grids across the district failed in a synchronized whine. Bor's hackers struck first. Enemy shadows surged from the Ravian. 100 strong. Axes gleaming in faint starlight. Mara Vance didn't flinch. Haired hand slashed forward. Advance. Squad pushed into alleys. No optics. No firelings. Just boots scraping gravel. Kyle's eyes adjusted fast. His species saw in infrared haze. Heat blooms marking friend and foe. It tapped Vance's shoulder. Pointed left. Clear. Right. 3 heat signatures ahead. She nodded. Gripped his arm. Squad flowed single file. Humans hauled ammo crates and slung wounded coalition privates over shoulders. Grunts echoed. A private whizzed beside Kel. Blood-soaked leg dragging. Keep tight, Van signed. Fingers stab air. Enemy close. Kale led. Ali narrowed. His vision pierced the murk. Enemy patrol thermal outlines pulsing 50 meters ahead. A fro squad with a raised fist whispered, 5 hostiles, axe squad. Vance squeezed his wrist. Understood. She motioned Kim forward. Corporal J. Kim knelt. Ripped scrap from walls. Shattered pipe, wire coils, enemy grenades, scavenged earlier. Tight trip lines across the alley mouth. Fast. Precise. Dirt packed around charges for shrapnel. Kale watched, pulse racing. Humans turned junk into death traps. Routine for them. Kim thumped activator. Sit. 5-second delay on trip. Vance signed, "Bite them." Kyle slung the wounded private higher, stepped into open with deliberate crunch. Enemy heads snapped. Axis rose. They charged. Tripling snapped. First blast shredded knees. Second hurled bodies into walls. Beams cut short by pipe shrapnel. Squad slipped past carnage. Cal's low light caught more heat blooms. Vor's main force funneling through district choke points. "Choke ahead," Cal hissed. "Courtyard." Exposed. Hundreds incoming. Vance halted squad at courtyard edge. Rubble-strewn open ground. Not cover but craters and fallen beams. She scanned. Darkness. Sign. "Hold here." Digging. Squad dropped. Shovels bit dirt. Ammo crates cracked open. Cal helped stack barriers. His rifle ready, thigh wound throbbing under field dressing. Tovan's voice crackled on emergency band, low power only. "Rice! Report. Pull back to walkers. Too exposed." Kyle keyed Mick. Negative. Lieutenant choke. Boar's horde funnels here. Reckless. Who must drag you to death? Vance snatched Mick. "Tovan, we hold or they flank you." Ed's static hissed. Tovan cursed in alien tongue. 5 minutes.
Old enemy roar swelled.
Boar bellowed from shadows. Soft skins break. Axes for traitors. Kyle's skin crawled. Boar lived. Charge hit like thunder. Armored brutes in wedge formation. Axes chopping air. Bands yelled, "Fire!" Rifles cracked. Cal's barked center mass. Woman round punched armor. His species flechettes pierced joints. First rank crumpled. Enemies closed. Axes swung at Kale. A dodge. Counter shot blew arm off. Squad fought shoulder to shoulder. Bands beside him. Shotgun booming. Buckshot shredded faces. Kim lobbed grenades. Timed. Perfect. Blasts carved gaps. Wounded private beside Kyle fired one-handed. Dropped enemy lunging for Vance. Kale's world narrowed to heat signatures and muzzle flash. Enemy numbers swelled. Axes hacked barriers. One coalition trooper fell, skull split. "Hold!" Vance roared. The loaded meet the stride. Shot hype fired into Boar's champion, a brute twice Kale's mass. Brute staggered. Kyle flanked. Emptied clip into visor. Shattered. Bar's voice boomed closer. "Press! Attrition breaks them." Squad ammo dwindled. Kale's Mac clicked empty. Slapped in last strip. Humans shared rounds, no hesitation. Kim patched the line. Triplings holding flank. Butt center buckles. Vance nodded. "Kyle, spot for me?" It did. Pointed infrared blooms. 10 o'clock 12. At fire erased them. Humans fought like machines. Tireless, adaptive. No panic. Host kill. But numbers told. Enemies piled bodies into ramps. Axes crested barriers. Tovan's walkers finally thumped. Gauss cannons whirred alive. Relief. Walkers strode into courtyard. Beams vaporized Boar's front line. Enemy horde shattered. Axes dropped. Boar bellowed retreat. Squad slumped. Vance clapped Kale's shoulder. "Good eyes, brother. Away you." Kyle panted. Shell shock gripped him. Fear he'd never known. His species fought from walkers, safe distances. Humans waded in. Treated slaughter as drill. Keen grinned through blood-smeared face. Scrap held. "What's next?" Toben's walker loomed. Lieutenant dropped ramp. "Rise." "Impressive. Gasa para un anuncio publicitario para satisfacer." Kyle stood tall. "Alliance works, sir. Together." Vor's forces scatter, but icons regrouped deeper district. Down hinted. Power still dead. Vance checked map slate. "Has circles for daylight push. We take fight to him." Kyle grip rifle. Fear twisted to resolve. Humans made impossible routine. Now he matched it. His squad moved out. Alleys again. Kyle's vision led. Gunfire echoed ahead. Boar waited. Kale's heart pounded. Brothers charged into dawn. Power flickered back. District-wide. But too late. Vor's ambush sprang from rooftops. Axes rained down. Vance shoved Kyle aside. Down. Squad scattered. Rooftop shadows drop like predators. Kyle rolled, fired up. Lichette stitch, a falling brute. Kim yanked wire from pack. "Rig beam for collapse. Clear!" Boom. Rooftop cabot. Crushing six. Vance rallied. Flank left. Kyle right with me. They followed. Alley forked. Heat signatures swarmed right Boar's elites. They burst through door. Room to room. Vance kicked panels. Shot point blank. Kyle covered blind spots. His low light pierced dust clouds. Behind, she spun. Dropped the axe wielder. Deeper in. Caswell drag again. Human private down. Leg mangled. Cal hosted him. Bands cleared path. Boss Ross shook walls. And the liaison. Blade crashed through door. Bor himself, armor scorched, axe thirsty. Cal dropped casualty gentle.
Rifle up. Bands flanked.
Grenade! Ertos bounced. Perfect. Vor batted. Explosion rocked him back. Kim appeared. Satchel charge primed. Cover fire. Cal and Vance hosted corridor. Rounds sparked Bor's plates. Kim slapped charge to lead joint. Fighting hole. Bor swam wild. Axe grazed Ben's best. Cal tackled her clear. Blast severed Bor's leg. Warlord howled. Crashed down. Squad poured in. Boots stumped. Rifles silenced them. Silence! Tobin's voice hailed. Reese! Status! Clear, Kyle gasped. Bore down. For good. Walkers secured perimeter. Medevacs hummed in. Bands help Kale up. Tackle saves again. Family now. He nodded. Thigh screamed, but pride swelled. Fear learned. Respite forged. Kim bound wounds. Dawn Ops next. Powers Hub Optics Live. District stabilized. Alliance held. Bot's mapper pinged it. Bot's light remnants.
Ladger force inbound. Bands grinned.
Round 2. Cal chambered round. Humans walked forward. He matched stride. War changed. Brothers unbreakable. Kyle's gauntlet console pierced the jamming fog. A faint pulse flickered. Enemy command traffic routed through buried repeaters. Crouched in the squad's mud-churned foxhole, alien walker shadows looming behind. Human rifles cracked sporadic fire at probing drones. Got it, Kyle hissed into his calm. 200 meters north, sub-level bunker. Signal pattern matches his lieutenant sync bursts. Lieutenant Tovan's voice cut in, cautious. Confirm? Our walkers can't punch that deep without support. Pull back to rally lines. Staff Sergeant Maravans slammed a fresh mag home. The squad 8 humans, scraped and blooded, huddled tight. She locked eyes with Kale, ignoring Tovan. Direct raid hit the brain now, or Vor grinds us tomorrow. You lead approach. Liaison, your eyes see what ours miss. Kyle's mandibles clicked. Humans charged impossibilities. His coalition training screamed retreat, preserve assets, but Vance's gaze pinned him. No choice. Alliance or annihilation. Afir, he sighed. Seaward, great entry, collapsed east tunnel masks hit. 5 meters of choke before the node. Bands grinned, feral, squat on Kyle. Kim, demo prep. Walkers, cover our ass. Punch through when we signal. She slapped Kale's shoulder plate. Move, they slithered out. Kyle's low, light optics got the smoke. Human boots splashed ankle-deep sludge beside his claws. Vance's squad flowed silent, flanks peeled for ambushes. A drone whined overhead. Corporal J. Kim snapped his rifle up, burst fired. Wreckage rained.
Clear, Kim muttered.
Scrap for later. Kyle pred the sewer grate. Rungs descended into black reek. It dropped first, rifle sweeping. Water lapped his boots. Echoes bounced, distant enemy chatter. Rot locked, he whispered. Choke narrows in 30. Breach point ahead. Ban's voice in his earpiece. Tight formation. No arrows, they ghosted forward. Walls pressed in, slime slick. Kyle's scanner pinged relays. Vor's node pulsed stronger. A patrol clatter ahead. Afros signaled. Ban's nodded. 2 humans peeled left. Suppressed shots whispered. Ghoul girl, splash. Bodies dragged aside. Deeper.
Air thickened with chem fumes.
Cal's been strained. Humans didn't flinch, just checked gear. Eyes hard. Breach loomed. Fortified door, blast plating scarred. Enemy guards patrolled beyond, axes glinting under red lamps. Im knelt, unpacked, satchel, scrap time. Egg-shaped charges from drone hulls, wired to his gauntlet timer. Dirt and shrapnel packed the mix. 10 seconds post-boom, lane clears for walkers. Cover. Vance arried the squad. Kyle took left flank. Rifle braced. Hard-thrum-built colliation sims never matched this grit. Go, Vance breathed. Kim slapped the door.
Fire in the hole.
Blast chewed, plating inward. Shrapnel howled. Guards staggered, shredded. Kim surged through smoke, shotgun barking. Lane open. Walkers, now. Alien walkers thundered response. Tovan's voice barred triumph. Punching through, coalition advances. Vance yanked Kyle forward. Nothrum, end this. They stormed the breach. Kyle's claws skidded on the breach. Smoke glowed his optics. No chamber yawned. Consoles flickering. Guards rallying. 5 Brutus. Axis raised. Boris elite. Crossfire! Vance roared. Kyle pivoted left, rifle chattering. Rounds sparked off armor. Guards wheeled, trapped. Bams flanked right. Her fire precise, dropping one with headshot. Another lunged at Cal, axes whistling. He sidestepped, drove stock into knee joint. Back. Private mowed it down. Due left, they charged Vance. Kyle snap-fired legs, toppled one. Vance finished it point blank. Last guard backed to central dice. Boar's hologram flickered there, hulking silhouette, barking orders. Rail voice boomed from shadows. Intruders die. Warlord Ket Vor rose from throne console. Armor peed, axe massive, guards gone, hit-triggered panels, alarms wild. Consoles sparked overload. Kyle advanced, rifle trained. Surrender Vor, lines break. Vor laughed gravel, liaison worm, aliens shatters. Smashed a rune. Bulkhead groaned behind Cal door ceiling. Locks clanged home. Trapped. Vance pounded the hatch. Rise! Open up! Bard lunged. Kyle dodged. Fire center mass. Plates held. Axe grazed his thigh plate. Pain lancet. Herald came up firing. Bore pressed relentlessly. Timer flash on console. 45 seconds. Self-destruct. No de Kyle with it. Brian secured. Vance yelled through steel. Afir. Cal gasped. Ducking swipe. Vor here. Timer running. Outside, blasts shook walls. Walkers hammered the hatch. Kim's voice. Charges set. Hold. Vor swung wide. Guile bolted console. Optic feed hacking node. Signal kill switch. Fingers flew. Enemy net collapsed. Vor roared fury. 30 seconds. Accebit consolage. Sparks flew. Kyle fired blind. Grazed helm. Vor staggered. Hatch buckled. Vance barrel poked through gap. Cover. Her shots hammered burst back. He whirled. Kyle tackled low-claws, raking joints. Armor split. Vor crashed. 15 seconds. Humans pouring in. Vance dragged Cal clear. Kim slapped disruptor on core. Timer froze at 3. Both thrashed. Squad boots pinned limbs. Rifles silenced him. Precise. Final. Kylith slumped against wall. Thiglith, but he stood. Geomans checked him first. No questions. Toban's walker loomed at breach. Node secured. Casualties. Van's white blade. 1 alien bats intact. Bor's done. Kyle's scanner cleared. Enemy signals flatlined. Coalition probes confirmed. Offensive stalled. But Mapper pinged anew. Bor's lieutenants rallied South District. Larger force massing. Heavy walkers inbound. Vance reloaded. Round 2.
Kyle chambered round.
Pride burned past fear. Humans turned route into routine. He matched her stride. Walkers hummed forward. Alliance forged in fire. Kyle's console spiked again. Buried signal, faint but growing. Burst dead man switch, or worse, backup brain awakening under rubble. They pushed into dawn haze. Drone swarmed horizon.
Contact front, Kim called.
Big guns. Vance grinned. Ours or theirs? Kyle's optics zoomed. Enemy heavies. Just retreat. Flank left, he said. My route, squad flowed. Humans led charge. It covered blind spots. Fear leered. Respect eternal. Explosions bloomed. They dove into next hell, but together. Kale's vents cycled steady. Woman impossibly was now protocol. Axe wielder burst from alley. Vance spun, dropped it. Behind, Kyle pierced dust. Rifle barked. Clear. Deeper. Casualty down human leg mangled. Cal hoisted. Vance cleared. Bor's roar echoed. No lieutenant echo. Squad pressed. Imrig scrap demo. Blaskar path. Walkers punched. Aliens held. Mapper screamed. Prime force. Minutes out. Vance, dig in or raid. Kyle traced signal. Their brain, now. Cycle repeated. Humans walked forward. He matched stride. Brothers unbreakable. Enemy line cracked under combined fire. Alien plasma walkers melted heavies. Human grenades choked infantry. Kyle dragged another casualty. Vance flanked him. Family now nod. Pride swelled down ops live. Power surged, optics sharp. District stabilized. Bootping grew, larger still. Vance grinned. Round 3, Kale fired first shot. War change. Wait, no door sealed him in. Expand that bit properly. Rewind in mind. Beats end with lock-in. Timer. But previous context had escape. This chapter to hook there. No, write full expansion. Count words. Aim 50 scene. Continue building scenes. After node, but Hook is sealed door. The story needs to end on Hook, but beats have Storm Room, then board triggers. So build to that. Rest that mental draft for accuracy. Start. Kale's scanner beeped sharp through jamming.
Pulse-locked Bohr's command node.
Make scenes with goal/conflict outcome. Scene 1. Identify node. Goal. Find target. Conflict. Hamin Artavan Paulback. Outcome. CD. Scene 2. Ride commit. Lead route. Goal. Right. Conflict. Tight spaces patrols. Outcome. Reach door. Scene 3. Breach door. Clear lane. Goal. Open for walkers. Conflict. Guards. Outcome. Lane open. Advance. Scene 4. Storm room. Crossfire guards. Goal. Clear wards. Conflict. Kale's scanner pierced the jamming haze with a shrill beep. Pulse locked. Bohr's command node squatted 2 blocks ahead, buried in the gutted hap block. Contact. Kyle hissed into his comm. No confirmed. Heavy encryption. But it's him. Lieutenant Tovin's voice crackled back from the rear lines. Negative, Reese. Pull back. Walkers can thread those ruins without exposing flanks. Kyle crouched behind a shattered ferrocrete pillar. Uman's squad fire chewed the street ahead, pinning enemy patrols. Sergeant Vance's voice cut through. Toban's pulling? Bullshit. Kyle, you got eyes on the prize?
Affirmative. Kyle's mandibles clicked in frustration.
Go. Tag the node for the plasma walkers. Tovin's caution would let Vor sleep away. Uman's pushed forward, regardless, always did. Vance grinned through her visor, rifle barking. Then we raided Jai scrap routes. Corporal Kim slapped a breaching charge onto a side alley wall. 3 minutes, Sergey. Tight squeeze. Enemy rounds pinged off Kale's coalition armor. He fired his plasma carbine, melting a drone swarm. Toban barked again.
Rice, disengage.
That's an order. Kyle ignored him. Humans never did. Vance waved them forward. Move! They slipped into the alley as Kim's charge blew a knee-high crawl space. Kyle's broader frame scraped chitin against jagged edges. Dust choked his vents. Patrol chatted echoed ahead. Vor's guards sweeping the block. Kim whispered, trapdoor ahead. Motion sensors. Vince nodded. Flank 'em, Kyle. Suppress. Kyle's carbine hummed. Blue lances sliced the gloom, vaporizing 2 sentries. Vance and Kim rolled grenades. Flashbangs that left the rest staggering. They burst through, boots and claws thudding in sync. Street open ahead. The AB block loomed, its main door a fortified slab. Enemy heavies hulked inside, optics glowing. Door's the key, Vance said. Breach it, walkers roll in. Kim eyed the lock mechanism. Armored. Need demo. Guards poured from side vents. Kyle's world narrowed to fire and dodge. It dropped one with a headshot, mandibles grinding. Humans fought like they owned the dirt, Van shoulder charging a foe, King rigging a trip mine from alley trash. Tovan's comm screen. Rise! You're exposed. Withdrawing platoon. Not yet, Kyle growled. They cleared the lane. Walkers could advance now, if Tovan committed. Vance kicked the door's outer panel. Stack up. Kim slapped charges, blast wave hurled shrapnel, door buckled. They stormed in. Crossfire erupted. Bohr's guards nested in the common node's antechamber, bolters stitching the air. Kale dove behind a console. Vance bellowed. Grenades high. Shrapnel shredded the room. Kale popped up, carbine spitting. Towards down, Kim flanked left, his shotgun booming. But Bohr triggered the trap. Inner door slammed shut behind Kale, sealing him in the node chamber alone. Red timer flash on the bulkhead. 10 cycles. Lock engaged. Kale slammed his gauntlet against it.
Bohr's laughter boomed from speakers.
Coalition worm. You die with my secrets. Outside, Vance pounded the door. Kyle, hang on! Explosives ticked. Kyle scanned frantically, data cores pulsing with enemy ops. He yanked a crystal drive, slotted it into his armor. 5 cycles. Door shuddered. Vance's breaching tool smashed the lock servos, sparks flew. Metal groaned. Tricicles. Pull! Vance roared. Kyle lunges as the door cracked. Vance's gloved hands grabbed his harness. It yanked him through inches before the node detonated. Blast wave hurled them down the corridor. Fireball licked their heels. Kyle's armor scorched. Vents screaming alarms. Secondary charges cooked off. Debris rained. Slabs of ceiling, twisted rebar, enemy limbs. Street outside vanished in smoke. Kale twisted midair, tackling Vance to the deck. He dragged her behind an overturned grab sled as shrapnel sleeted across the pavement, chunks pinged off his carapace. A fist-sized bolt embedded in the sled's side. Vance coughed. Visor cracked. Nice save, liaison.
Kyle's limbs trembled.
Humans treated death like a Tuesday drill. You are a... Pulled me. Why? Leave no one behind. She reloaded, eyes scanning the haze. Enemy counterattacks surged from the flanks. Vor's reserves expecting the node blast to break them. Bolters chattered, but Tovin's voice cut the comms net. Riss alive? Data secured? Affirmative. Kyle rasped. No, destroyed. Walking now. Plasma walkers thrummed into the street. Alien heavies, 8-legged behemoths, venting superheated gas. Vance infantry darted between legs, laying suppressing fire. Advance, Tovan ordered. Walker strode forward, plasma lances carving enemy heavies. Human grenades choked the infantry waves. Kyle rose, carbine joining the storm. Vor's line cracked, troops breaking under combined hell. One walker pinned an enemy tank. Vance's squad poured rounds into its vents. It popped in a fuel bloom. Kyle fired until his carbine overheated. Enemy retreated in waves. Vor's signal vanishing from scanners. District stabilized. Down light filtered through smoke. Kyle keyed Coalition Command. Liaison race reporting. Vor's node neutralized. Casualties light. Success due to human infantry doctrine integrated breach and cover fire enabled Walker advance. Common paused. Doctrine? Elaborate.
Resilience under fire.
No pullbacks. Human street breach as routine. Acknowledge. Stand by for extract. Vance clapped his shoulder pauldron.
Good call out, Kale.
Not heroics. Just how we roll. She peeled a patch from her sleeve. Faded unit insignia. Crossed rifles over shield. Held it out. Kyle stared. What is this? You're tapped now. Squad patch. Your Vance's demons. Family. Mandiblis parted in shock. Humans called him one of them. The impossible made routine. Enemy ping flickered on scanners. Larger force inbound. Benz grinned. Round 3?